popping, everybody? My name is Eden, and welcome back to the Original Fashion Tarot channel. We are going off with part 5 of the unboxing of the second half of the Greek gods and goddesses. Be sure to check out the first 4 parts of this. They are currently up on my channel now. They're pretty good, actually. I've been telling some of the old Greek legends as a part of them as well. And yeah, without much further ado, let's continue. Part 5, here we go. Our first card of the day is Orpheus's Melody. Now, we have a card similar to this in the other deck as well. Now, Orpheus is a rather tragic tale, I'm afraid. As many of the Greek stories are, he is a rather tragic tale. You see, Orpheus was just a son of Apollo, and he fell in love with a mortal, as per usual. Most of the Greek tragedies involve love stories. And his lover, unfortunately, I think she was trampled by a centaur. I'm not entirely sure. She might have taken a hard fall. Whatever the point is, no matter how she died, she did end up dying and going to the underworld. And Orpheus, through his many grievances and talents, knew that there was only one way to heal himself. He decided to try and do what no one else had succeeded at before. He, alone, ventured into the underworld with nothing but his lyre and a dream to bring his love back from the dead. And so he sang and played all the way down to the throne of Hades himself. And through his music, he convinced the god of the dead to make a deal. Hades would release Orpheus's lover from the fields of Asphodel, and Orpheus could bring her back up to the mortal world. But there was a catch. Orpheus had to climb the entire set of stairs, yes, there were stairs, up from the underworld without looking back. He had to trust the love of his life, and even death, was with him that whole time, right behind him. He had to have faith in Hades that he had held up his end of the bargain. And so he set off on this long journey, climbed all the way up those stairs. But the more he climbed, the more nervous and fearful he became. What if she wasn't really there? What if he'd done all this and just been deceived by the Lord of the Dead? And so, at the very last step, the very last stretch, he could no longer help himself. If he'd just taken one more step, he would have been fine. But he turned around. She was there. She smiled at him and faded away, back into the depths of the underworld. And Orpheus himself, well, let's just say he soon followed. The hard way this time. Tragic tale indeed, Orpheus. Tragic tale indeed. Next card? Medusa's Gaze. Yeah, we've got a card like this in the other deck as well. I already told the tale of Medusa in one of these previous parts, actually. I already told most of her tale. Actually, I think I told all of her tale, actually, in parts 3 and 4, I believe. So if you want to hear about the story of Medusa, please go check out parts 3 and 4 of this unboxing for more details on Medusa's story. Let's see what we have next here. Dionysus's Celebration. Wow. Okay, so this shows Dionysus, actually the 12th of the Olympian gods, the last one to be inducted onto the council. He is shown here in a much purer form. This is him enjoying one of his many revelries back in the day. Ancient Greek parties were pretty massive and a lot more messy than your average frat party, let me tell you. And I think some of you guys know how messy fraternity parties can get, but you get the gist. Dionysus is the god of wine, as some of you may well know, and this shows him just enjoying the parties. Now, some of his most devoted followers, well, they are not ones you want to run into because you've heard the term party animal before, yes? Let's just say that his followers are taking that phrase a little too literally. And I mean that in the worst way possible, unfortunately. So if you ever run into them, run, because they're gonna get you. What's our next card? The Wisdom of Solomon. Interesting. Okay, so the Wisdom of Solomon. Now, I think Solomon was a child of Athena. There's not actually many legends about King Solomon, as he's shown here, except for the fact that he was a very, very wise king. If any of you guys out there have ever watched many of the Shazam movies from Detective Comics, you'll know that Shazam, the superhero, does possess the wisdom of Solomon. So, this is Solomon himself on his throne back in the ancient old Greek times. Pretty interesting stuff, really. Let's see what's next. The Flight of Icarus. And this is a card that I discussed in also parts 3 and 4. As well as parts 1 and 2, but this shows Icarus quite literally flying too close to the sun. He tried to fly too high. And in the end, he ended up falling so far from grace. If you want to hear how that story goes, be sure to check out part 3, because that's where I tell the full story of Icarus and Daedalus, and the boy who flew too close to the sun. Tragic tale indeed. Let's see what's next. The Cavern of Nyx. Mystery, darkness, and unconsciousness. The Cavern of Nyx, the primordial goddess of night. Now, Nyx is a very unique goddess. She doesn't really fit amongst the Greek pantheon that well, because she's so unknown. There's almost nobody, not even the gods themselves, who have ever met Nyx. And those that have often don't live to tell the tale. And if they do, well, let's just say they don't come out of it as sane as you'd like them to be. She is, after all, the primordial goddess of darkness. Not just night, but darkness itself. And it's said if you gaze into the abyss long enough, the abyss will gaze back at you. This is the abyss. Beware the abyss. Next card is the Sphinx's Riddle. I also discussed a similar card to this, which is in this deck, by the way. Shout outs to Divination Hub for this deck. The Sphinx's Riddle. I discussed a very similar card to this one in, I believe it was part 4, that it might have been part 3 of this little unboxing of mine. So if you do want to find out more about the Riddle of the Sphinx, do go check out the previous parts. As I've been saying, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the previous parts. So yeah, definitely go check those out. Let's see what we have next. The Golden Fleece in another form. This is probably its most accurate form in picture form. The Golden Fleece hanging atop the tree here. It is a tree that has been healed by the Golden Fleece. If that fleece were ever to be removed, who knows what kind of catastrophes would be removed from it. Perhaps this would be a good time to tell the tale of the Golden Fleece. So, originally, the Golden Fleece belonged to a gigantic cyclops who lived alone on an island that relied on the Golden Fleece to bring it prosperity and happiness and health even. Health above all else. The Golden Fleece is, above all else, healing item. And it's a massive fleece, mind you. This is not some slouching off fleece. No. This fleece, it's worth its weight in gold and so much more. Even the gods would want this. And so, in their quest for healing someone, I don't know. It was a quest for the Golden Fleece. I don't know what they were going to use it for, but I believe, if I recall correctly, there was a quest, a band of demigods who set out to claim this fleece. I believe it might have been Theseus and some other gods. It's not some other gods, some other demigods. And in the end, they did succeed. And they actually ended up semi-blinding that Cyclops left on that island, which was an unfortunate cost of, getting the fleece out of there. But hey, they did do it. And I'll have to look more into that story for more details, but that's the general gist of the story. Trying to put up my arm there. Sorry about that. Alright, let's see what we have next here. Hera's Peacock Throne. Majesty, Marriage, and Protection. Now, I've discussed Hera at length through some of my previous readings, and even a little bit in these extra parts here. Now, Hera is a bit of a unique goddess. She doesn't have that many powers. She is the wife of Zeus, which sort of makes her the power behind the throne. However, that doesn't mean that she herself is that powerful. She actually, in the Giant War, was the first strike by the Giants. They captured her, chained her down. And believe it or not, guys, even gods can be imprisoned. Because, gods are pretty dang powerful. They can split their essences up into many different places at once. They can be existing in multitudes. They can split themselves up into wherever they want to be. And Hera had the biggest piece of herself imprisoned, and unfortunately, the rest of her essence just had to follow suit. That's a crude, but somewhat accurate representation of how that actually works. And this shows the goddess herself on her throne, the peacock throne. She likes peacocks for some reason. I don't know why. I don't think that was ever actually explained. Maybe that's the kind of bird that she just likes a lot. She's always had an affinity for birds, so I guess peacocks kind of make sense. But, yeah, you get the gist here. She is the goddess of marriage, wife of Zeus, queen of the gods, that sort of deal. And if you're ever getting married out there, guys, and you want your marriage to succeed, send a quick prayer to Hera. You never know. She may just answer you. Now, I'm going to spread these out a little bit because I got time for 2 more cards here. Let's see what we got next. The Argo. Speaking of demigod quests, this was one of the greatest of all time. This was one of the greatest quests of all time. The Ship of the Argo. 50 demigods. 50. All packed into one ship. Unfortunately, many of them ended up dying along the way to complete this quest. I'm not entirely sure what the quest is about, but it might have been for the Golden Fleece, actually. Might have been for the Golden Fleece. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, no. The Ship of the Argo was a ship of 50 demigods. You name it. Hercules, Theseus, Atalanta, Asclepius, actually, who actually became a god in the end, the god of medicine. Every single demigod you could probably name is on that ship. They set out on a journey across the seas to lands that were, at the time, at the edge of any map. At the edge of existence for them, perhaps. If you would like to put it that way. This is a very famous ship. If you'd like to hear some more tales about the Argo, I'm afraid that I'll have to wait until some of the next parts here. So, we're going to be ending it off right there. Cliffhanger, folks! Keep you tuned for the next one. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single one of these videos of this unboxing. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, folks. Wild numbers. Absolutely wild. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next parts of this little unboxing. Peace out, folks. Have a great day.